Cool. Okay, let's go to 21. 21, Baqarah, the cow, ayah 21. O humanity, worship your Lord who created you and those before you, so you may become mindful of him. So the first thing that I would say here is there's an edict here. So worship your Lord. So it's telling you to worship your Lord who created you and those before you. It's telling you who you are, who was created, and who God is. God is your creator here. In other words, I would use like the word the source. So, because the God comes with like connotations, so it's like some guy in the sky and like whatever. And like, I don't believe that there's a guy in the sky. I could believe that we come from a source, like a source of existence, something that's pre-eternal that you can't really understand. Because obviously, like we're confined to like time and space. Like we're traveling through time. Or like literally, we're a piece of energy confined into this like body. Like if you talk to like somebody who's like old, or old, like an older person, what they'll tell you is like, I feel young. Like I have a soul of a young person. I have the energy, but my body just can't do stuff. Those are people who have a vibrant soul. Now, some people, their soul dies before their body does, and that's a totally different conversation. But the idea here is that you are a soul living in a body. And the source created all of that. The existence in which you have, the existence in which you're experiencing right now, you didn't create it for yourself. So you know this to be a fact. Did you create yourself? Obviously not. So like the source must have created you. This is how you're here right now. The problem is when you call it God, you call it whatever, it can kind of get a little bit weird. Like you don't even have to make the argument that like God is talking to you in any of these books, the Quran, the Bible, whatever, but you could at least say like, I come from a source. You can call that source the universe, you can call that source the source, you can call that source God, you can call that source Elohim, you can call that source Allah, you can call that source Hashem, you can call that source whatever. You can just call it a source in which you come from. The connotation that this source is speaking to you is the claim of like the Quran, the Bible, or whatever. Now, the edict here is that you should worship your Lord so you may become mindful of him. So you worship the source, you thank the source for existence, so you can become mindful of the source. Does that make sense? Now, if you're mindful, if you worship your source, so now you're in an act of faith. So the first edict here is for you to behave in a manner of faith. Now, let's take this like totally away from religion and let's just kind of discuss like how faith works. So like let's just make it a assumption, for example, that like you're in a relationship or like you have been in a relationship before. If you've noticed, like when people get into a relationship, they behave in a manner that reflects that they're in a relationship before they're in the relationship. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? They behave like they're in a relationship before they're in a relationship, and then they become in a relationship. And if you can see where people break up, like they behave in a manner like they're going to break up before they break up. If I'll give you another example, like let's just say like you want to drive, like you're going to look in the direction in which you're driving before you get there, right? So my point is that like everything you do has faith connected to it. You want to be successful in your job, you're going to behave as if somebody was successful, as somebody that's successful in that job. And you can kind of see that through like the development of humans. So like one thing that children will do, like I have a nephew. I know we all pretend like I don't have a nephew, but I have a nephew. And my nephew loves to play working. He loves to play working. So he'll grab he'll go on his father's laptop and he'll like bang the laptop. Now what he's doing is he's mimicking what success looks like. So he has an idol in which he's pointing towards, like his father, not an idol in a bad way or a good way, he just like is an idol. And he's pointing towards that thing. He's idolizing a thing, an ideology, a basis of living life, which is his father and his mother, but his father on this side, and he's pretending to be working. So there's a mimicking aspect here in the psychology of a human being. They're mimicking something. Now, what they're doing is they're behaving in a way that when you start behaving in a way, you eventually start behaving in that way even more. So if you want to be a good runner, the idea is to start running, right? If you want to be a good exercise person, you don't go from like 0 to like bench pressing like 700 pounds or whatever. Like you start slowly. But the point is you start. And everything you do as a human being comes with faith. Does that make sense? Now you can't go too hard, right? So, and that what you do is you start. So, O humanity, worship your Lord who created you and those before you, so you may become mindful of him. So if you worship your Lord, your creator, your source, the source of existence, if you're thankful, if you act in a manner that's thankful towards the source of existence, like where you come from, obviously you're going to start to feel like you're more thankful. It's not rocket science, but sometimes things that are so easy to understand conceptually are like difficult in practice because you're like, it's so easy. And you're like, am I brainwashing myself towards like praising a God? Well, like, yeah, that's exactly what you're doing actually. You're training, but you're brainwashing yourself in every action that you do. So this is something that I discovered. Micro actions equal macro action. So your life is based off of a series of micro actions. So how you talk, how you behave, how you move. So for example, if you're like, I want to be a studious person, you don't just wake up and become a studious person. I want to be a doctor. You don't just wake up and become a doctor. That's not how it works. You like slowly study. You like slowly do things. You like move towards the target. So if you look at like the word, guys can Google this if you want to, but you look up the word sin. What does the word sin mean? I'll pause so you guys can think about it. Maybe pause this video and like look at it. I'm going to pause so I can take a drink of this. Like, what does the word sin mean? So sin is an archery term for missing the mark in which you aimed for. So you're aiming towards something. Sorry, I'm hitting the table a lot. You're missing the mark in which you aimed for. Now, when you miss the mark in which you aimed for, it's literally a sin because you're projecting your future by your micro actions. Now, in the way to project your future by your micro actions is to do the micro actions. So you can predict your future by bringing it down to a step-by-step basis. Because you are in control of all of your controllable factors. I promise you this actually means something, and I'm not saying a bunch of nothing. It sounds like nothing, but I'm not saying a bunch of nothing. So worship your Lord who created you and those before you, so you may become mindful of him. So it's like redundant. You worship your Lord and then you become mindful of him. But how could I worship my Lord how could I be mindful of my Lord? Why would I worship if I'm not mindful of my Lord, the source? Like, how would that happen? Well, you start slow. And this is like a lot of problems that I have with people, like when they talk to me. It's like some people go like, I can't pray because like praying 5 times a day is a lot. Like, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. If you go from 0 to 5, like that's a lot. Some people say like, I can't do yoga or I can't meditate because like I'm not good at meditating. Like, do you know how to get good at meditating? You meditate. Do the action to the degree in which you can do it, and then just continue and build from there. So if you want to build a better connection with the source, your creation, you literally have to act as if you're trying to build a better relationship with the source of creation. Now, the weird thing, and I have 40 seconds left, so I'll leave it at this, like the weird thing about being thankful for the source of existence. So this is something that you should know. Like, the weird thing about being thankful of the source of existence. So you talk to the source of existence, you go, thank you for like creating me. You become more appreciative of life itself, and then therefore become happy. So like literally like praying to the source, and like those like happiness mantras like I'm enough and like all this kind of stuff, or thank you for being here, or like listing out your positive benefits, is exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Because what are you doing? You're thanking the source of your existence. Therefore, you're appreciating being here. Thank you so much.